I'm leaving now to go home. Like, you need to make your video. Like, basically, she gave me the little push that I needed. And I say that jokingly, but like, no, I needed a little bit of I needed the accountability, right? So you finally started posting to social media, but you're not really seeing anything happening. Like, no one's liking and you're not getting that many views. What do? Do you just quit and figure no one cares?
No, you don't quit. And I have a personal story. When I started out as a business owner in 2017, I went back and forth of, do I want to find a job or do I want to start a business? And I got a clear message that I needed to start my own business. And a friend of mine was like, we need, you and I, not together, but we need to start making videos. And because, nobody's doing that in our niches. And I was like, great, let's start doing that. And so in January in 2018, I started making a video like once a week. And at that time, really nobody was posting videos. In fact, it was really all about the aesthetic on Instagram and things like that. And I went 3 months before anyone commented on my video. And the validation that I got was I was posting them everywhere. I was posting them on LinkedIn. I was posting them on Instagram. I was posting them on Facebook. I was posting them on Twitter. One day at a networking event, somebody was like, oh my God, I love your tip videos. Nobody was commenting. Like, a person said it to me. Like, I love those tips. And that's what kept me going. And I think that I probably would have stopped if that was the case. But I knew also that I was like, if you're consistent and you keep showing up, people are going to believe in you. And me consistently showing up got business. That's how I started a whole social media coaching company, which I don't do anymore. But it is just like being consistent and just working through it was the big thing for me. And I know you've struggled with that too. Like, you have your own struggles around that.
Yeah, I do. I would say when I first started making videos, really it was for Dash. And I had a really hard time with getting over the way that I looked, the way that I sounded, the way that whatever. I just couldn't. I would overthink making a video, and then I would get on video and I would ramble. I remember I would record the videos like after you had left, because I would take like 3 or 4 takes to get down to my point. But I think that this is something that everybody goes through, is this feeling of being really worried about what everybody else is going to think. And then that comes out in the need to then have everything look perfect. And so it's interesting that even though we are in the social media business, we end up doing almost like video therapy. Like, no, we don't need to be perfect here. This is not about perfection. And I think, when you were talking about that first 3 months where nobody was really doing or saying anything, I'm sure that you had moments where you were like, I don't know if this is worth it, but you kept going anyways. And I've heard you say that that's a good thing. So maybe talk about like why it's a good thing to keep going, and it's a good thing that no one's really watching either.
So in the beginning, nobody's really watching. What happens with that is when you let your guard down and you keep going, you get better and better and better. So I look at my Facebook memories every day. And from January 2018 to about the middle of 2019, I see those videos and I'm like, oh my God, these are awful. But it's also like my UGC videos that I started doing like 2 years ago, super cringy. And now the quality is just so much better. You have to practice in order to get better. And you have to figure out like what works and what doesn't work. And also, like, if you're making videos, you are the expert. So just opening the phone and just talking is probably the best way to get started. Just freely talking and not worrying about having a script and being perfect. And there's teleprompter apps and things like that. But some of the best videos that we've ever done and I've ever done have been ones where I just open the phone and talk.
Mm-hmm.
Like opening the phone when you're stopped at a stop sign or something, or walking to the cars my best videos seem to be. You just open the phone and you don't really care. By now, I don't care what other people think. I just open it and do it. It's the practice of doing it.
Yeah. And I think to your point of, being nervous and things like that, I think it's kind of a good thing that no one is watching then, because you can take that pressure off yourself. And you can be like, I'm just going to play around with this. Like, I'll try doing a video in my car, or I'll try doing a video like in my kitchen, or, no one's watching anyway. So just try it and see like what feels good and what feels natural, and, where you like the light the best. Like, yeah, we're not in for perfection, but it's okay to have good light, and like, it's okay to try different locations and see what you like, and trying out different, like you mentioned, teleprompter apps, or we just love the sticky note on the back of the phone, or the front of the phone, whatever, and with your bullet points. That's what I did when I started rambling. I went sticky notes, back of the phone. What do I actually need to say? Because I'll find the words to fill in the rest. It's not a problem for me. Why would you say that imperfect content is what performs?
It's because like it's the opening the phone and talking like a FaceTime call. When you open your phone and talk to somebody, like there's that connection. So when you open it up and you are just walking down the street and you're saying something like, yesterday I opened my phone and was talking about how a brand sent me a swimsuit and it was gapping in like the most important part, like right here. And I emailed them and said, hey, this swimsuit is not going to work. And they were like, take it to get altered. And we're talking about, this is probably like a $25 swimsuit. And I'm just like, what kind of experience is that? Like, I'm not going to feel confident in that suit. So I literally was like, has this happened to you? And I told the story, and it was like a FaceTime call. It was just like, this is how I'm feeling. And I want to know if you feel the same way. So it's kind of like that one-on-one. It feels one-on-one when you open your phone and just talk unscripted. Or you can have the bullet points there.
I mean, you can have the bullet points, but not having it all scripted out and kind of being in the moment with how you want to say it, I think is the key. I think it's, people relate to that authenticity. They're going to relate to that more than they will a super polished video that looks like an ad. They want a person. We talk about Cringe Mountain, and this podcast is now the Cringe Mountain Diaries. So what do we mean by Cringe Mountain?
Cringe Mountain is just when you're starting out and you are unsure of yourself, but you want to show up. You show up and you feel awkward and you feel like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Who's judging me? You're slowly climbing it every time you make a post. And this is, can go for any like goal that you have in mind. Like running, for example. You're not going to be able to, I was just talking to my 13-year-old about this. You're not going to be able to run a mile and the first time you go run. So you're going to have to climb up and up and up and up, and you're going to have to get there. And it may take you 2 months to be able to get there. But Cringe Mountain is a good thing. It is a good thing, and it helps you build the confidence because you're climbing Black Butte and you're in the canopy, and then you bust into the open sun, and it felt so easy. And then, oh my gosh, you kind of have a little bit of a setback with the sun, and you just know you have to keep going because there's that amazing view at the top. That's Cringe Mountain.
Absolutely. And it's really hard to help other people see that sometimes because they are so in it of, nope, this is horrible. I don't want to do it. Like, think about when I love the hiking and like the mountain climbing example, obviously, is so fitting because it's like, no, I'm tired. I'm hot. I'm sweaty. I don't want to be here. And you just kind of get all into this like grumpy mood. And the reality is you're building muscle all along the way. And like, then you get to a point one day where climbing Blackview is fun. And you cannot wait to go do it because it's freaking fun. And you get up there and like you have this mountaintop experience, but you do learn those lessons along the way. And those are lessons that we can't just tell you. You have to kind of learn. You have to experience them on your own.
I mean, we can tell you, and we're telling you right now. However, like it's the quest. It's the climb. It's the, view at the top. And what is like, also like at the top of Cringe Mountain, what is the view? What is that? And that's different for everybody. For me, it's a brand contacting me to work with me. For you, it might be something else. For another person, it might be comments or views or shares. It's going to be different for everybody.
Yeah. And, try to also not compare your mountaintop to somebody else's. It's good to know like what you're in this for, because in that moment of, me going, I have to make a video. Like a great story I like to tell about my own struggle was when we were giving that workshop, and I needed to make videos for it to show up, to market it, to sell it for our business. And that, means a lot to me. So there was one day where, I was supposed to make a video and Shannon's like, did you make your video yet? I'm like, no, I'm sick. And I was sick. I had a little cold, but it was nothing, earth shattering. And Shannon was like, I'm leaving now to go home. Like, you need to make your video. Like, basically, she gave me the little push that I needed. And I say that jokingly, but like, no, I needed a little bit of I needed the accountability, right? So in that moment, I realized I'm putting this off for any excuse. If I wasn't sick, it would be something else. It would be something else. And so, she leaves. So then I get the phone out and I'm just going to do this because I don't care. Because I'm at that point where I'm like, I'm sick and I don't care about anything. And so I do the thing. I walk around the office and do the thing. And it ends up being like one of my favorite videos. That was a moment of like, oh, I'm feeling better about this now that I just did it, got out of my head about it. It ended up great, and like my reward was we sold more workshops and we're able to help more people and more businesses. And that was, a part of my journey and part of my mountaintop. Like that's my goal. I had to keep that goal in mind before, during, and after making that video. Because if I was like, well, I don't really know why I'm doing this, then I probably would have made another excuse. So anytime you're making a video about a piece of content, I think even if it feels a little like if it feels like it's not going to do anything or not going to move the needle, just have a picture of your ideal client in your head or your mountaintop or your goal or your workshop you're trying to sell or your product and go, this is why I'm doing this. So just open the phone and do it.
Why do we put so much pressure on ourselves when it comes to things like Instagram? Like why? How do you like shift from that? Yeah, I mean, maybe it's got a 5% reach of, your followers. Definitely do not have that gene. If I put something in my mind, and I've said this to other business owners, if I have a goal in mind, I haven't done everything possible to make that goal happen, like that's on me. So if somebody said like, hey, if you start making videos, we'll just use that as an example, eventually you might have a brand to contact you. And so it's like, I'm going to keep going because I'm trying to exhaust all the things to have the brand see me. I don't know where I get that from, but I mean, even in high school, I didn't care. Like I just had that I don't care gene. Like if I have a goal in mind, it's going to happen and I'm going to figure it out. It's really hard for me when a business owner comes and says, oh, I need to go get Botox and have my makeup done and be wearing the perfect thing. Like, no, you don't.
No, you don't.
No, you don't. Is Botox going to attract somebody to you? I think some of my best videos are like in my pajamas or in my gym clothes, like in the car. Yeah, like the coaching client that I had that was doing these really awesome backgrounds and talking straight to the camera. And she was like, nobody's like commenting on my stuff. Oh my gosh. I'm not going viral on TikTok. And then she opened her phone in her car and made a video and it went viral. I think she was coming from pickleball or something. Cares that you wore the pink blouse in 6 videos.
No.
Nobody's going to even notice that. You're going to notice that. Perfect profile image. Perfect grid. Nobody looks at your grid. Well, maybe brands do if you're a creator, but that's really about it. The phone, like when you wake up, make a video.
Ooh, I like
Trend that if you open TikTok, every time you open TikTok, you just make a video. So I would have to make like 10 videos a day. If you want to conquer video, the story option is the best way to do it. Try to just show up every day in the stories. I was just literally thinking to myself right now, like, have I been in the stories today? Probably not. Because that's brand awareness too.